here has heard of the Man in Black? Music has been a rich part of American history. An online article, The Role of Music in Human History, whenever humans get together, for any reason, music is always there. Whether it's graduation, weddings, funerals, music will always enhance your experience. Knowing the life and history of any one musician will give you a better understanding of their music and why they write it. I've taken an interest in folk, rockabilly, and also listened to entire collections of one artist versus just the one song you hear on the radio. I believe knowing the lives of musicians gives you a better understanding and an insight into their albums. Understanding the life and musical history of Johnny Cash is an important part of American culture. Today I'm going to discuss with you the life, musical career, and death of Cash. First I'll give you the background to his life that influenced his musical genius. Then I will discuss his career and accomplishments. Finally, I'll discuss the death and influence he had on American culture. To start, let me introduce you to the Man in Black. J.R. Cash was born February 26, 1934 in Kingsland, Arkansas. As he came from a poor family, they spent their days working the fields, singing songs and hymns that they heard in the churches. His mother was a devout Christian. She spent much of her time singing and playing the guitar on the porch. His father, a sharecropper, and farmed cotton and worked very hard. He was the second of 7 children. His older brother, Jack, was a huge influence and was also dedicated to the church. Much of his music came from the hymns and ballads that they heard there. His brother Jack was killed in 1944 by an electric saw. John always felt he was responsible for his death as he chose to go fishing that day versus helping his brother in the farm. After high school, Cash joined the Air Force. During that time that he was enlisted in the military, they required a first full name. Hence, that's where the name Johnny came from. He couldn't go by J.R. Stationed in Texas is where he met his first wife, Vivian. He was then transferred to Germany, where he bought his first guitar. He developed his first band with his Air Force buddies called the Landsberg Barbarians. When he returned, he moved back to Memphis with his wife Vivian and worked as an appliance repairman to pay the bills. There he met 2 men, Marshall Grant and Luther Perkins, and formed a band, Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Two. After the success of Elvis's first record, it was Cash's idea to go play in front of its producer, Sam Phillips. They dropped in on an impromptu audition. Although Phillips loved the sound of Cash's voice, he wasn't really interested in the gospel's music that he was playing. He asked Cash to go write his own song and come back and audition again. The trio did just that. They came back with their hit, Cry, Cry, Cry. Phillips really liked his voice and produced the band's first 2 songs. After being produced by Sam Phillips, Cash's career really took off. Cash went out to break records all the way till 1956, where he wrote Folsom Prison Blues, which hit number 14 on the country billboards. Shortly after, he performed regularly at the Grand Ole Opry, where he met the Carter family. The Carter family would help him in such influences as I Walk the Line. According to an online article in the Academy of Achievement, I Walk the Line was a number 1 hit for 44 weeks and sold over 1 million copies. During this time, he would play with his future wife, June Carter. Eventually, Cash would move to Ventura, California, where he signed with Columbia and began his 30-year career. He would write and perform such hits as Ring of Fire. Although he had written over 50 songs, he was still seeking fame. He then moved to Greenwich, New York in the 60s, where he played such artists as Bob Dylan. He would later work with Dylan on such songs as The Girl from the North Country Fair, my personal favorite. He also helped Dylan write his album Nashville Skyline, which was number 1 for 4 years. This was considered a slow time in his career. He was recently divorced and a bit lost musically. He moved back to Nashville, where he lived with another well-known artist, Waylon Jennings, until reuniting with June Carter. Cash married Carter in 1968. Soon after, they wrote classic hits like Jackson and continued to tour. He also released a very well-known album, At Folsom Prison, which sold over 1 million copies. This is the time where he earned the nickname The Man in Black. And although he has a song called The Man in Black, he's often stated saying he really only wore black because it was easy to keep clean. Over the next few decades, he had a decline in album recordings. He severed his relationship with Columbia and became an advocate for Native Americans and treatment of prisoners in jails. He dabbled in acting, and when it hit the 90s, a comeback was on its way. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and released 2 smash hits, The Essential Johnny Cash and Unchanged, which would end him earning a Grammy and a Lifetime Achievement Award. Cash's death can be contributed to complications from diabetes in September of 2003. Although he was incorrectly diagnosed, people think Cash really gave up his neurological battle due to the death of his wife June 4 months earlier. Many artists have said to dedicate their career and their musical influences came from Johnny Cash. At the MTV Awards shortly after his death, many artists spoke of his genius. Sheryl Crow was quoted in saying, "Country had lost one of its most authentic voices." Mick Jagger said his influence spanned over many generations. Even Justin Timberlake, who won Best Male Video that year, dedicated his win to Cash for the Moon Man video. Cash also had a great impact on his fans, remaking and vamping such hits as Hurt by Nine Inch Nails and other White Stripes songs. The list is endless for the contribution that Cash gave to the musical industry. In conclusion, American history would not have been the same without the musical presence of Johnny Cash, the Man in Black. Having an understanding into the life that created this musical genius will aid you in a deeper appreciation of his music and contributions to the American culture. Today I gave you some insight into his life and music and the people he touched. Hopefully, the next time you hear one of his songs, you'll have a better understanding of where his inspiration and mindset was when he created it. Thank you.